Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. So I'm just going to get right into it so I can get my children dressed for school because we woke up a little bit late this morning. This time is throwing me off. Listen, I'm waking up at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I feel like I'm waking up every hour on the hour. And I'm like, okay, God, talk to me. Or I'm like, okay, God, I'm listening. Okay, so just giving honor to God this morning, thanking Him for waking me and my children up this morning. Thank you for keeping us in our right mind. Thank you for giving Him the use and the activities of all of our limbs. Thanking Him for us being able to speak, walk, talk, see, smell, just have all of our senses. I'm just thanking God for that this morning. And that's how we thank God. When you wake up in the morning, just thank God for waking you up in the morning. I already told you the alarm clock don't wake you up. It's God that wake you up. So I'm going to get right into it. The part two of Sodom and Gomorrah. A lot of people heard of this story. Some people haven't heard of this story. I think it's very interesting regarding Sodom and Gomorrah. So I'm going to get right into it. So Jesus, God had told Sarah and Abraham that they were going to have a baby. They were laughing and everything. So, and I told you, when God tell you something, believe it, okay? So the second part, so after the Lord had revealed to Sarah and Abraham that they were going to have a baby, three men, him and two other men, had traveled to Sodom. And so God told Abraham there were so many people that was evil in Sodom, and he wanted to destroy Sodom. So Abraham said, God, but what if there's innocent people there? Will you still destroy them? And God said, if there are innocent people in Sodom, I will spare their life. So Abraham really wanted to know, okay, so God, what if there was only 50 people that was innocent? What if there was only 40, 30, 20? What if there's only 10, God? Will you still spare their life? God said yes. He said that I will spare their lives. He will spare the whole city if there was only 10. So let me tell you something. When you have, not trying to sound cocky or anything, but like me as a Christian and I serve God, I have a relationship with God. When you have me in your circle, sometimes God say, okay, because of Sandy, I'm going to spare your life. Or because of Sandy, I'm going to give you favor. Or because of Sandy, so just using an example. I'm just using me as an example. So I'm saying that just to say this, take a closer look at who you have in your circle. I've mentioned this before, who you have in your circle, because that is very important. You can have the favor of God upon your life because of the people who you have in your circle. And not only that, the people in your circle that will pray for you when you call them, they'll come, so be careful with the people you have in your circle, because your life may be spared because of the favor that they have with God, or the relationship that they have with God. Okay, so I'm going to move on. So that evening, two angels came to the entrance of Sodom and Gomorrah, and there a man named Lot was sitting there. So Lot invited them into his home, and they prepared a dinner for him, for the men. Lot prepared a dinner for the three men. And so when they were preparing to go to sleep, men all over the town had came. Young men, old men, middle-aged men, all kind of men came. Okay, I'm sorry if I'm looking down too much. I'm looking at my notes that I wrote. And it says, the men came knocking on the door saying, where are the men that you invited into your house? Let them come out, because we want to have sexual intercourse with them. So Lot's like, no, no. You're not going to do that. They're under my protection. Lot said, you know what? I have two virgin daughters. You can do with them as you please. But these men are under my protection. I'm not going to let them out. Now I'm going to pause right there. I know it was different. I know times have changed, but God's word is still the same. Let me tell you, that was one test I probably would have not passed. Saying, okay, you can have my daughters, but these men you can't have. I would have been like, all right, God, you're going to have to intervene, because I'm not giving up my daughters. I'm not offering them up. I'm just saying, let me tell you. So I want to have that kind of faith, that kind of, I don't know what to call it, but let me tell you, that is hard. I was listening to a sermon of T.D. Jakes, and he was saying when Abraham had to offer up his son as a sacrifice, And TD Jakes was saying, you know what? I'd rather write a check. I'll write you a check, but I'm not going to offer up any of my children. He said, you know, that probably was a test that I probably wouldn't have passed. And let me tell you, I can relate. I can understand even by reading this story. But even then, you know, as a father, I truly believe that that's a hard thing to do, to give up your daughter, you know. But I'm just saying, I know that's pretty hard. So I'm going to move on. So Lot was saying no. So the men were trying to attack Lot outside. They were trying to break the door down. So the two of the angels had pulled him into the house. And so the angels had because that's how much power they had. They blinded the man on the outside that was trying to break the door down so that they couldn't see the door. So the angels told Lot, if you have any family members in this town, you need to get them out, because we're going to destroy this town, because the place, there was so much sin, so much evil in that town. The angels were saying the stench of this place have reached God. I'm going to pause right there. Meaning there was so much sin. There was homosexuality. There were adultery. There were fornication, whatever sin, murders, whatever it was. And they were saying it is stenching. The sin is so bad. The stench, the stankness, the evenness have reached God's nostrils. So what I'm saying today, take a look over your life now. I'm not judging you. I'm not passing judgment. But what stench do you need to get rid of that smells bad in God's nostrils? What are you doing? What can you do better? Or are you weak in knees to where you can't give up fornication? You can't give up having sex? Is it drugs? Is it, I don't know, gambling? I'm not sure. Whatever stench it is, get rid of it. Because let me tell you, you know, a lot of times we can go to church and we can hide behind the dressy clothes. We can hide behind the makeup. We can look so holy than thou. Or sometimes you may not go to church, you know. But you're not fooling God. God is everywhere. He sees all and He knows all. So just work on it. Whatever stench that you think that is stinking up God's nostrils, please work on it. Try to do better. Just say, God, you know what? I want to do better. Or what you could do is speak into existence. You know what? I do not desire to have relations with this man, or I do not desire to do drugs, or I do not desire to take drugs, or I do not desire to drink. God, take the taste out of my mouth. So whatever stench it is, ask God for help. Okay, because let me tell you, warning always come before destruction. I truly believe God always give us a warning before He said, you know what, this is it. I've had enough, you know. So, you know, the angels was telling him to get his family out, because they're going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah because of all the sin that was in that land. It says, so Lot told his family that they had to get out quick. It says the young man thought that he was joking. Like, his family thought that he was joking. Everybody thought he was joking. Lot himself even hesitated. But because of God's mercy, because the angels were saying, listen, you need to hurry up and leave. Don't hesitate. But because of God's mercy, God spared him. And so the angels had got him to safe ground. And the angels warned Lot and his family, listen, don't look back. So listen, when God delivered you from a certain place, don't look back. When He delivered you from a relationship, don't look back. Listen, I know that sometimes you may even feel lonely and be like, you know what, well, we have children together and we might as well be together. Let me tell you, just because you have a child from a man, that don't mean that, you know, you were supposed to marry that man or be with that man. I'm just using that as an example. You know, because you will live a miserable life. There's people now that's been married 30, 40 years and, you know, couldn't stand each other. 29 out of the 30 years they was married. But because of the children, they stayed, you know. And then when the children leave and then they get a divorce after the children leave, and the children are confused. Like, wait a minute, you guys seem so happy. You did, you know, now it's confused. The children are confused, you know. But I'm just saying, I'm just using it as an example, you know. And sometimes you can stay there for the children, and if you guys can work through the problem that you have, then do it. Because the picture is so much better when both parents are in the house. Trust me, we have been going through some things these past couple of days. I'm like, Lord, help me, you know. And it's nobody but God that can help us, that can help our family. Okay. So, The angels told Lot and his wife and his family, don't look back. Don't look back or you will die. If you look back, you're going to die. And sometimes that's what happened to us. So Lot did not want to go to the mountains. He wanted to go to a small village because he's saying, man, if I go to these mountains, these people are going to kill me. So the angels was like, okay, he granted his request. And let me tell you, that's another thing. When you have favor with the Lord, let me tell you, you can ask what you will. God said you can ask what you will, and trust me, you're going to get it. Okay? So listen, when you have a close relationship with God, you ask what you will, and you will get it. Okay? So God had destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so he destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. And he burnt it with fire and sulfur. But let me tell you about Lot's wife. Couldn't be obedient. She looked back and she turned into a pillar of salt. Let me tell you something. How many times can you get destroyed when you look back or when you go back to this certain thing? Whether it's drugs, whether it's booze, whether it's adultery, whether it's fornication. Listen, don't look back. When God gets you out of a situation, first of all, we ask God to help us. I know I've asked God to help me in certain things. And let me tell you, there has been some times where I have looked back where I'm like, oh my God. And let me tell you, it didn't work out. Now, thank God I didn't die like Lot's wife. But let me tell you, just bad things after bad thing after bad thing after bad thing. And all that brought was anger and depression. And let me tell you, when God take you out, it's a verse in the Bible that says, don't be like a dog. Don't return to your own vomit. That is disgusting. Think of it that way. So when God delivers you from a situation, don't look back. Be strong. Ask God. Say, God, where I'm weak, please make me strong. I'm weak in this situation. God wants us to talk to him. So tell him the truth. I'm telling you, you may think you sound crazy. You may think, oh my God, I'm talking to myself. No, God hear you. He's sitting right here. He's everywhere. God is omnipresent, meaning he's everywhere. Talk to him when you're in the shower, when you're in the bathroom, if you're in your bed laying down or standing up, if you're in your living room, your car, at work. Listen, talk to him. He hears you. That's what he wants. That's a good relationship. That's how you have good relationships. Okay. So, but God, okay. So his wife, Lot's wife died. She turned into a pillar of salt. And listen, but God, he listened to Abraham's request. He had spared all the innocent people. And like I was saying, when you have favor with God and when you have a relationship with God and when you're obedient to his word and when God see that you're trying, trust me, he know that it's not easy. This is flesh that we're in. We were born into sin. Okay? This is flesh, So he know that we get in the mood sometimes. We get that feeling where we want a man to touch us. We want to kiss. We want to hug. He know that. He understands. And he know that we're going to fail sometimes. But listen, you have to try hard now. Now, you have to try hard. Like, God, help me. And even for that moment, God, can you at least take the feeling from me until you bring someone into my life, until I could get married? I'm just using that as an example because that's one of the biggest things that people struggle with is fornication, which is sexual relations. So let me tell you, ask God to help you, and trust me, he will. He will. But when you have favor with God, you can ask anything of him. Okay? And he'll grant your request. Okay? All right. But like I said yesterday now, when you ask him for something, ask God to prepare you to receive that thing. Okay? You got to keep that in your mind. Because sometimes we're not ready to receive it. We may think we are, but actually we're not ready. So just ask God to make you ready, prepare you for the things that he have in store for you. That's all I have for you today. I love you guys and have a blessed day.